I used the focus mode for 30 days to help with my ADHD unfocused issues. And here's exactly what happened. Hi, I'm Dr. LeGrand, and I have ADHD and dyslexia, and I have been dealing with a lot of challenges with coming to focus, just a lot of people who deal with ADHD, and especially on my phone, it is a big distraction. And iPhone came out recently with a new update on this focus mode where you can actually set your hours of when you don't want your phone to disturb you. And you actually could pick particular apps of what apps you do not want to disturb you. So I decided to set that up on my phone so that I could stay in the flow state, because one of the biggest challenges of us people with ADHD, we get distracted easily. And every time you get distracted, research has actually shown it takes us about anywhere from 20 to even 30 minutes to get back in the flow state. So if you think about trying to get in the flow state to stay really focused throughout the day, you want to be able to not get distracted, because what will happen, it will prevent you of that flow. If you think of an analogy of someone trying to pull a big heavy car, it takes a while to build up that momentum. And if you finally get that momentum and you're going faster, but then you were to stop it, then you have to start all back again and take up that time to actually pull that car and build up that momentum. It's the same with our focus. If we are finally getting that focus mode, it takes us 20 to 30 minutes to finally get in that flow state, really hyper focused. And then if we get distracted, guess what? It stops, and then we got to repeat the whole process again. And this can consume a lot of our time and productivity. And I've noticed it's been eating away a lot of my time because I get distracted, especially from my phone. So let's look at how bad I actually was on my phone to begin with. If you see right here, on average, pretty much almost 9 hours a day. I'm really embarrassed to actually show this to you. But yes, I use my phone a lot for work because I'm posting on social media, but I really wanted to see, am I spending a lot more time on my phone that isn't necessary, that's keeping me from being productive and getting more things done in the day? So the very first week, the challenge that I had, even though my phone wasn't going off because it was set, I still had that tendency to grab my phone and look at it, even though there was no notifications. And so it took a while for me to finally get used to it. At the end of the week, I started to notice that I was forgetting my phone more and was able to focus more. And I actually got more done than I typically do. But that's all grand. But what was my results just from doing it for 1 week? So if we actually look at my phone screenshot here, you could see big, huge difference. On average, I was only spending 6 hours and 30 minutes. So on average, I was saving an additional 2 hours and 30 minutes every single day to be more focused. And I noticed I was getting a lot more done. I mean, imagine if you can give yourself back 2.5 hours a day, how much you could do with that. And I was really ecstatic about this, of just seeing by doing something as simple as turning on the focus mode can make all the difference. So leading into the second week, I noticed I forgot I even had a phone, because what I would do, instead of like constantly grabbing it, I would put my phone somewhere far away from me where I couldn't grab it, but I didn't hear any notifications. And the only people that could come through if it was an emergency was my wife and some other people that I work with. And that's the beauty thing that you could set up with the focus mode, is you could have certain people that can reach you and then have everybody else turned off during those focus hours that you want set. And because of this, I noticed that I was more in the flow state. I was able to work longer hours without distraction and able to be more productive and efficient, and then finish my work even earlier in the day so I could spend more time with my wife and my kids. And so if we look at the results from 2 weeks into doing this, it was about pretty similar, extra two minutes less, so 6 hours and 28 minutes, but still was consistent. And that's what I care. Like, goodness, having 2 hours and 30 minutes extra each day, I mean, that adds up to a lot of different hours, from 45 hours on average for the entire week versus almost 63 hours a day. That is almost 20 hours a week of saved time that I was not spending on my phone, and actually spending time not only for in my business, but spending additional time for the loved ones that I cared about, that I could be present and having more quality time with my kids and my wife. By the third week, I had additional training that I bought, so I knew I was going to be on my phone for more extended hours. What made the difference here is I noticed that typically when I buy a course or a program, I still get distracted by all the social media apps, and I'm not spending the in-depth trainings that I should be, especially what I've invested in. And I noticed I hyper-focused, and I got through those trainings within like a week and a half, which is amazing because typically I don't when I'm buying a course or program, but because I had the focus mode turned on, it made all the difference of me able to finish through that a lot faster than I typically do. But even with spending way more time on my phone, the results were actually not bad. I still only spent 6 hours and 45 minutes on average a day. And when I actually looked at the app that I was using in the program, I spent about 16 hours this week just in training. So if you really break it down, it was only 5 hours per day on average. So I just gained 4 hours a day of being productive, which is amazing because of this simple little thing that you just do on your phone. By the 4th week, I definitely was getting a groove. I noticed I was really hyper-focused. I was being more productive. I was able to stay in that flow state consistently and able to finish earlier, which is why I decided to use this feature in the first place, which I'm so grateful that they have this. I wish they would have had this much sooner, and it would have made a big difference for me. But even looking at my results for week 4, you could see that it even was less on the average. So average, I was getting about 6 hours and 30 minutes. This week's was 6 hours and 20 minutes. But even this week, I still was finishing up training, and I did about additional 7 to 8 hours of the training of the program and stuff like that. So it's still, on average, I was probably doing only 5.5 hours a day, which is amazing. Honestly, this is amazing. If you are having trouble with focus, I definitely highly recommend this. Something that I'm still using to this day. In fact, you could even see my additional results on the previous weeks. In fact, this week with continued results in November, that week, I only spent 3 hours and 4 minutes on average. So think about that. If I was spending 9 hours on average before I was doing this, 9 hours on my phone, that's 6 hours of wasted time every day that I just gained back. That's huge. Imagine what you could do, even if it's just those 2 hours and 30 minutes that I typically on average each week get, because that is the typical average. The whole thing is on average, I was getting about 20 hours plus every single week back of time that I can use, whether that is for being more productive in my business, spending time with my family, and I totally highly recommend this. So if you want to know how to actually do this, then watch this video next. We're actually going in depth of how to do it in your settings and also all the benefits that you can get of using the focus mode on your phone.